Hello everyone, I'm Chestic44, Hassan Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we spoke with Arushale and managed to sort out her dream, as she finally figured out what she wanted. And with that, she is effectively no longer a succubus, no longer demonic. She can now interact with people without feeling those constant cravings to consume their soul and touch them without draining their life. All is better for her. Wondrous thing. Now, let's head to the commander's court and see what the hell is going on there. Let's see, who should I take? You know what? We'll take you. We'll take you, you, and you. That'll work out. Joyful excitement reigns over the island. The Free Crusaders are busy with hundreds of things at once. You hear songs, merry scuffling, bursts of laughter, and toasts. Aranka dances in place, humming a cheerful song. She seems to be composing it as she goes along, weaving in fragments she hears around her, and her song includes lines like, "Glory to the halflings," and "This venison stew is overcooked." Noticing you, she stops singing and cheerfully exclaims, "Commander! Ivu, you're finally back!" "Well now, where is everyone? Come quickly, gather round. I need to brag about how Falai Galasarn and I punched all the nasty demons in their horned heads back in the abyss." Ivu sniffs the air. "Ooh, look who's here! Dragonlings! The ones you helped hatch!" "Oh, dang!" "And I am here. Remember me, charming minx straight from the abyss? I promised I'd find you, and I did." The fox stretches her muscles, satisfied. "Well, hot damn, charming minx." And it looks like she brought a friend. "Good to see you, Commander. How are you? Is anything left of the abyss? We might want to go there once to blow off some steam. Or twice." "Just look at Ivu. She's grown so big. Commander, what are you feeding her? Can we have some too? Or maybe we should feed it to Scaranthal and his treants. Just imagine gigantic walking trees. They could carry entire detachments into battle." "Listen up, everyone. Falai and I and all sorts of our friends went into the abyss. It was very scary and gross, and everyone was super mean. They all wanted to lie to us or trick us or kill and eat us. Some demons even kidnapped me. But Falai came and saved me. And then we defeated a whole bunch of nasty demons and came back. We are very brave heroes. But don't forget that brave heroes also love sweets." A joyful clamor answers Ivu's speech. Aranka claps her hands. "What an interesting story, Ivu. I'm so glad you're back." "How have things been going in my absence?" "I don't know if you've heard, but after you left, we were kicked out of Dresden. They said it was for our own good, as well as the common good. It was hard for the Free Crusaders to live among the unfree ones. Well, I don't know about our strict, well-trained paladin friends, but it definitely worked out best for us. We didn't have to look at their long faces anymore."
"In your absence, dear Commander, we mastered a new tactic. We regularly hold joint military exercises with our allies, the Halfling warriors. They charge from hidden positions in the crowns of our quickwoods. We're learning to pretend to be an ordinary grove so we can trap unsuspecting demons."
It's a good plan.
"It was us, the mimics, who came up with the idea. We are true masters of tactics. But demons don't go in because they aren't suspicious. Quite the opposite. They see a grove growing in the middle of the world wound, but how could a grove grow there? They fly over to investigate, and then we let them have it."
You know, that's actually brilliant. The mimics actually came up with an idea that is being used by the treants, and they have to... That's great, I love it. By the way, has anyone seen Early Sunset here recently? "Yes, he briefly stopped by. He said he needed to find you and that he'd come back after you returned. What an odd creature he is."
"He surely is. I wonder where he is and what he's up to. I bet my tail will meet him again." "Wait, no, I don't want to lose my little tail."
Ivu, I'm sure you'd win that bet. Did anything unusual happen in my absence?
"The island experienced a few minor quakes, but nothing serious. We all felt a surge of power and thought it must have something to do with you.
Ilks and I conferred and decided it must have a special connection to you, much like Ivu. She grows with your power, and the island also changes because of it. I was happy to see all of you. Now I must go. My planet needs me. Falai, wait. I was so excited to see you return from the Abyss that I forgot to tell you something important. We recently had a dream, a prophetic one to be sure. In that dream, our island learned to fly. Not just hover or float, but true flight. It followed you like a dog on a leash. Not like a doggy, but like me. By the way, having your own little dragon is way better than having your own flying island. But having both an island and a dragon is even better, no? And it's very convenient if you ask me. Falai, you can always return to the island to rest and recover from the filth of the world wound. And we can fly behind and help if you need it. Here's the thing, Falai. I think you should listen carefully to yourself. Perhaps you can figure out how to steer the island. Just in case, I'll tell the sculptors to stop working on the equestrian statues prancing along the edge. If the island starts to fly, they'll all fall off. Wait for news. The calm before the storm. Never has that phrase been more apt. Every one of the commander's followers is certain that something extraordinary is about to happen, but what and when? Okay. Well, we do kind of need to see everyone. Everyone mount up. Just as you can.
Future awaits us.
Now let's see here. There's Matrius. You have nothing for me. Well, maybe you have. Ferocious Pact. Ew! Yeah, no, definitely not. Don't think you really have anything specifically good. No, I don't think so. Let's look around either way. Yeah, stuff left behind by Matrius. Maestro Aventurine. Wait.
My skills
Wait a
are
second.
obsolete.
Aventurine was a kitsune? Has he always been a kitsune? Huh. Okay. Let's keep looking around. Oh, there's Charming Minx and the Woundworm. The Dragon Lynx clearly recognize you and show their teeth in friendly grins. Nice island. I like it. Just a thing to recuperate after being enslaved in the Abyss. We can restore our strength and lick our wounds. Very nice. Still a bunch of... Oh, right, young Crusaders. And I don't think they have anything to say, so it looks like all we have left to do is rest. Go back. Also, I think resting here will actually give other benefits. So, I'll have to try resting here more from now on. Come on, get in. Right. Let's go to the Citadel. With nothing else to do out here, we need to go and take care of, the Crusade. So, time to manage Crusade affairs. Let's see what's left of our army after Galfrey went and took it and did whatever the hell it was she was doing. Okay. That was on Helor. Leotar we've spoken with. Oh, we've got a couple of things. Report. The Galarian slaves rescued by the commander and Elutioneer are infinitely grateful, and they are ready to get even with the demons with weapons in hand. In the commander's absence, the Crusaders were led by Queen Galfrey, but everyone remembered that the official title of leader of the Crusade had not been taken away from the commander. Her glory attracted many warriors, and a detachment of such volunteers had just arrived at the walls of Dresden. Thanks to the power of the Wardstone residing in Dresden, the demon siege was much less bloody than it could have been. Enough soldiers arrived in the citadel to form a fighting detachment that is now awaiting the commander's orders. And a scouting party was captured by a succubus who introduced herself as a priestess of Nocticula. She did not harm the soldiers and merely asked them to deliver a message. The demon is offering the commander a deal. She enjoys experimenting, and she is asking to be sent demons and mortals for research and play. What should be done with her? Authorize deliveries of prisoners to the succubus. A decree that adds finance points. Send troops after her, which adds energy points, or introduce her to the thieflings. Interesting. Demons and mortals for research and play. This concerns me greatly, and I don't like the idea of introducing her to the thieflings. That feels like it would cause problems. I am sending troops after the succubus. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do that. The demon may be up to something. It is better to send a force to destroy her. The soldiers will be able to hone their skills and might even discover useful trophies in the succubus's lair. Let's see. We have two... Oh, are there any other boosts here? Trade with the witches. Okay. I don't think there's anything particularly new. Improve diplomacy, yes. And improve the art of war, yes. Definitely gonna work on those. Leadership and logistics we need to work on. Economy, a religious feast. Don't need to do that. Royal conscription. Recruitment growth for trainable units increases by 10%. And Yama Azadas would be good to have some. We've also got Namaris' Burning Brand, and the remains of the colorless one. I don't recognize those. I'll have to look those up. And the crystal the commander came upon holds many mysteries. Experts on magic and relics may be able to shed some light on some of them. I feel like that's something we can do. And recruit the Yama Azadas. As for the campaign... We've lost a lot. Right then. You... We still have our generals. You're gonna be... Setsuna. I can't because Setsuna needs another 3 days. That's annoying. But I can recruit more troops. So, fill up on marksmen, fill up on champions, and you're gonna have clerics. Let's see. I bet we can merge. I do kind of... Oh, wow, that is actually a ton of Yama Azadas. I like that a lot. Okay, let me see here. We are going to need a lot more resources. Those are rogues. I want sorcerers. Those are going to take time to find. And while we do have church guards, I'm not going to recruit any of them. And we have hedge knights. Spearmen have shown to have some use. Okay, the Yama Azadas. You're gonna join up with Army 3. Once you're actually able to, in 3 days. That's gonna take a bit. The other army... can be the Paladins, and you for now. I'd like to get more Hedge Knights. Let's go with that. That is a ton of resources. We could use them, and a ton of those. There, that's a ton. You can go ahead, buy some spearmen. Let's go with a search, try and find some other things. Sorcerers! Ooh, and we have more rangers. You, just to temporarily take them, take a load of sorcerers and hedge knights. Sorcerers are going to merge up with the Yama Azadas, and you guys will all merge together. I want the cavalry to join up with the scouts. That'll probably work out. So, as for looking around here, let's see. We do have a quest over there. I can look at it this way. We can now access more of the map. There's a lot more to look at. There's a quest over there we need to do, and we have a quest over here that needs to be taken care of. So we've got a bunch of demon armies that need to be cleared out. We need our general to form up to clear out more of these forces. I think we'll need to go there for a quest. There's a quest over there. That's the trap, that's a portal. Point is, we have a lot of places to go and a lot of things we need to clear out. It's gonna take a while. Anyway, skip a day. Diplomatic relations have improved. The art of war has improved. And raid on the succubus. Yeah, probably a good idea to do that. Soon, anyway. Let's talk here. Ah, diplomacy. Lady Konomi doesn't look nearly as confident or bold as before. Commander, what a blessing it is to have you back. Mendev is in need of your help. There's been a revolt in Nerosian. The disgruntled nobles are completely out of control. They proclaimed the Royal Council dissolved and arrested several of its members. Many politicians were accused of collaborating with the demons. Some were executed, others were torn apart by the crowd. The first treasurer has fled. There's fighting in the streets between mercenaries hired by the aristocrats and the guard, who is loyal to the Royal Council. Dresden has received letters from the insurgents, as well as from the loyal servants of the crown requesting your support. But both the Royal Council and I have faith that you will elect to defend the legitimate authority. This faith is not misplaced, is it? Lady Konomi regards you with a devotion you've never seen in her before. If the powerful have gone mad and are spilling blood in the streets, there is only one force that can stop them. The Church. We'll appeal to the clerics to intervene in this conflict. Their voices will be heard. Why would we bother saving the Royal Council, so it can keep pushing us around? I propose we publicly support the nobles. If a few esteemed elders were to depart from the council, it wouldn't be a terrible loss for the nation. The politicians have neglected their duty, but maybe the soldiers won't? There's gotta be some honest generals left in Mendev. We'll ask them to bring their troops to the capital and put an end to the unrest. I know a thiefling, Zarsi. She's from the River Kingdoms. She was saying something about a young state over in the Stolen Lands that managed to cobble together a proper cohesive nation from a bunch of riffraff. Pretty slick considering how tricky it was to make them not hate each other's guts. Want to invite them to help us patch things up? So Nerosian first demanded, but now is asking? Situation in the capital must really be grim. You are absolutely right, Commander. I admit the Royal Council hasn't shown you the proper respect and amicability. I myself brought this to their attention on numerous occasions. Lady Konomi's posture is full of repentance. But trust me when I say none of them wished you ill, and they all shared the unshakable belief that you were the savior of our nation. Why is there rioting in Nerosian? Without Her Majesty's steady hand, the capital has fallen into decay. Some are settling old stores, others have discovered new opportunities. Mendev is accustomed to following a highly respected leader. The only one who can protect the throne from greedy hands is you, Commander. Lady Konomi gives you a deep bow, exuding remorse and obedience. What's the situation in the capital? The Royal Council, Her Majesty's most trusted civil servants and public officials, have long been in conflict with many powerful Mendevian aristocrats. The former had connections and influence. The latter had their family names, riches, and personal armies comprised of mercenaries, sworn knights, and commoners. For many years, their strife was latent and civilized. Coercion, bribery, intrigue. But the nobility spotted an opportune moment. They decided to overthrow the clique of dignitaries that has usurped royal power. That is what they call the council. A series of arrests ensued, but the Royal Council found its own supporters and retaliated. Currently, numerous aristocrats are assembling their forces in the capital. The Supreme Court building now serves as the base of operations for the new Royal Council formed by the leaders of the nobility. The old Royal Council is holding Her Majesty's castle, the treasury, and the guard headquarters. Every so often, skirmishes break out in the streets. Many civil servants have left their workplaces, and the townspeople are fleeing the city. The capital is paralyzed. Let me hear the council's opinions. Of course, but I implore you, do not delay. Every minute counts. Sociel, what can the church do in a situation like this? Become a living wall between the opposing sides. Call for mercy, and if necessary, warn them about heaven's wrath. People sometimes forget their conscience, and that's what clerics are for. In the end, they will remind the people that we're in the middle of a holy war. And who do you think called the shots in the Royal Council before, my good Sir Cleric? Its leaders, the Paladin and the Inquisitor. In other words, the pious people. Just like the ones you want to ask for help. Daeron, why should we support the nobility? They will form a new Royal Council. It's certainly possible that they'll end up being exactly the same, hypocrites, bores, and schemers. But firstly, it will be a new, refreshing set of hypocrites, bores, and schemers. And secondly, they will remember who it was who helped them rise to power, and won't demand at every turn that we kiss their banner. So we're just going to support the insurgents, and bring even more havoc to Mendev? I get the feeling that the next parade in our honor should be held by the demons. We're doing all the work for them. You are mistaken if you think that those nobles will be better than the Royal Council. They, at least, knew the boundaries that had been set by the Queen, but a band of nobles who seize supreme power will believe that they are entitled to everything. Lan, can we count on the military leaders to help us? A bureaucrat's oath is a little different from a soldier's oath. If the politicians have betrayed Mendev, its last hope is the army. Let the troops march into Nerosian and bring order back to the streets. That'll cool everyone's heads. That is a dangerous solution. The military doesn't like to surrender what they have captured. Such is the mindset of a soldier. We run the risk of establishing a military dictatorship in Mendev. Lady Konomi snarls with discontent. Give power to the belligerents. They'll order the nation around like a company of recruits on the parade deck. Years of careful diplomatic work will go to waste. No, soldiers are inflexible. They cannot handle such delicate matters. Woljif, what was that about the River Kingdoms? Zarsi, a friend of mine, was telling me about this kingdom in the Stolen Lands, how it was made. For centuries, all kinds of rabble and outcasts were gathered there, and then this new leader appeared, and the whole mishmash became a solid nation. So it got me thinking. If they are so damn good at making different sorts see eye to eye, maybe we could put them to use here. They might butter up some folks and give others a scare, but whatever. It'll chill the hotheads, eh? Anyone who calls on foreigners to solve their country's problems is just asking for an intervention. We have no right to show Mendev's weakness to others. Lady Konomi, do you really expect me to support the Royal Council? Commander, neither they nor I were ever your enemies. We were doing our duty, although we may have been unwise and presumptuous on occasion. But I assure you, all mistakes have been addressed. By being generous, you will only demonstrate just how wrong the capital was about you and teach them a lesson. Wow. This is some small-time thief chatting up the judge stuff. Your Honor, I've seen the error of my ways. I was wrong, but I've learned my lesson. Please be generous. Cut the crap. We've all been around. We know what those promises are worth. Alright. So what do we get out of these? For the priests, we get Robe of Angelic Prudence. +4 enhancement bonus to Charisma and Wisdom. And the wearer can cast Greater Angelic Aspect at will. Impressive. For Daeron, we get Cloak of Astounding Prowess. Whenever the wearer of this Cloak of Resistance +5 lands a killing blow, all enemies in a 15-foot radius must pass a will save or be blinded. Very nice. For Lan, we get Overlord's Chainmail. +5 Mithril Chainmail gets +7 insight bonus on persuasion checks to intimidate. Woljif, you get Elixir of Inconceivable Transmutations of Body and Soul and also Mind. Permanently gain a +2 inherent bonus to all ability scores. Talk about powerful. Konomi, we get Goggles of Quick Grasp. Grant their wearer +15 competence bonus on persuasion checks as well as all lore and knowledge skill checks. Hot damn, plus 15 to persuasion, all lore and knowledge. That is powerful. And for this one, the Declaring Independence degree. All generals gain a plus 7 to power, adds a load of finance points, materials points, and energy points. This decree can be issued only once. I am not going to declare independence because if you do, that basically means you will no longer have any more diplomatic meetings. And I kind of want these. They give good bonuses. In my eyes, High Priest is pretty good. This is the best from a personal standpoint. I mean, a plus 2 to all ability scores, that's great. But also, a plus 15 competence bonus on... Oh wait, that's persuasion, not perception. But persuasion and all lore and knowledge checks. That would be incredibly good for Nenio. At least because of the lore and knowledge checks. That is very good. But thematically, I'm going to send letters to the River Kingdoms. I'll drop a line to Zarcy so she doesn't get us some random nobody. She should find, like, the best advisors there. Maybe, like a counselor. Sounds neat, huh? A foreign counselor has arrived in the capital to give everyone a responsible good whooping. What if they're a troll or something? The River Kingdoms is one wacky place, you know. Yeah, that was the last game. I apologize once more for all the misunderstandings we've had in the past, Commander. I thank you, and I won't take any more of your time. As soon as the situation in Nerosian changes, I will immediately convene the Diplomatic Council to give you a full report. And military. Commander, glad to see you back at the head of the Military Council. A decision is required of you more urgently than ever. Here's the situation. We don't have an army in the strictest sense, and the enemy is putting up much more of a fight than previously. Judging by the reports, the demons are relying less and less on the armies of their mortal servants and the power of simple blades, and more on magic and dark sorceries. We must respond in kind by bolstering our forces with expert spellcasters. I'm prepared to send an order to Canabras at once, requesting the necessary reinforcements. I propose we support our army with bardic magic. Bards learn all kinds of spells in their travels, and their songs can inspire our warriors and give them strength to fight. These demons know their vile magics, but I know something stronger than that. The power of the gods! We need some war priests in our army. Their spells will chase away the darkness and heal the wounded. We would do well to invite monks into our army. They've been hardened by a lifetime of training, and even demonic corruption cannot harm them. If you're in need of mages versed in the art of killing, you should contact the Daggermark Poisoners Guild. Their alchemists are second to none when it comes to making deadly poisons, or utilizing them in battle. And sorcery is a foul business. Let the Orglins cast their evil spells, that's no reason for us to welcome sorcerers with open arms. We'd be better off calling upon the druids. They know how to fight against fey illusions, Orglin magic, and other vile things. We've been able to manage with what magic we've had just fine so far. The enemy never stands still. The more serious a threat we become for them, the more substantial will be the forces they throw at us. Gone are the days when the Abyss would casually send hosts of mindless cultists and lower demons. Now we're up against more cunning and skilled opponents who can incinerate a dozen soldiers with a single spell. We must respond to this with magic of our own, or we will lose. Are you sure Canabras is going to send us troops? Without a doubt. Canabras is much safer than we are at the moment, and I'm convinced that the Warden can provide some forces to support us. All of Mendem knows that right now, Dresden is the dam holding back the river of demonic corruption that would otherwise be flooding the south. The kingdom is in the process of mobilization, and Queen Galfrey's march on Iz has encouraged many who previously shirked military service to join the ranks of the army. Why didn't you leave with Galfrey, Odan? Captain Odan grows pale, but his voice sounds cold and steady. I did put in a request for a transfer for the front lines. Unfortunately, it was refused. Command determined that due to the psychological trauma I suffered during my years of service on the border, I am no longer fit for battlefield command. He lowers his head. As much as it stings to admit it, they may be right. It's been a long time since I smelled burning flesh and heard the screams of battle, and I can't guarantee that when I do, I'll be able to maintain my composure. and I won't fail the soldiers who will be depending on me. However, I can still serve them by staying where I am. Alright, advisors. Sela, are the war priests battle ready? Of course. There are plenty of brave and honest people among them, and serving the gods of light makes it their duty to resist evil. Many war priests made a conscious choice to forego a life of peace because their ideals wouldn't let them stand idly by. They've studied the military craft, and their blessings and healing spells have saved many a soldier's life. I hate the idea of risking the lives of the gods' servants. If they perish, their celestial patrons may resent it and turn their backs on us. Regil, can monks really withstand demonic magic? Monks are paragons of restraint and iron discipline. They are comparable to the Hell Knights in that regard. Among other things, they'll bring the values of order to our troops. Let the soldiers see how all demonic machinations and temptations break upon the monk's iron will. Then they themselves will become more calm and resolute. Greybor, tell me more about the Poisoners Guild. They're a creepy bunch. Imagine, if you will, an alchemist and an accomplished scientist who can take your breakfast and make a bomb or a poison that could kill a basilisk out of it. And now, imagine that the same alchemist doesn't mind personally shoving this poison into the basilisk's mouth. It's a pretty good description of your average member of the Daggermark Poisoners Guild. It's true. Their blades coated with magical poisons are not as dramatic as calling down lightning from the skies, but they are just as effective, and far less conspicuous. You underestimate the power of dark magic, Greybor. A poison dagger can't send every scoundrel in this world to Pharasma. Ulbrig, how will the druids help us? I already told you about the Verderon Forest, didn't I? It's a brutal little spot. The folk there have to fight for the right to live every single day. They have to tear it from the claws of evil fae, walking plants, huge spiders, and all kinds of oglins. The druids there really know their stuff when it comes to fighting otherworldly beasts and their foul magic. You couldn't find better people to have on your side. I'm sorry, but experience fighting fae isn't going to be much use against demons. Don't take this the wrong way, Ulbrich, but Sarkoris had more druids than anywhere else, and they still didn't manage to save it. And Odan, how can bards help us? It's become a fine tradition among Mendavian warriors to go into battle accompanied by songs of daring bards who glorify heroic deeds and strengthen the hand that smites the demons. Their ballads will inspire our soldiers, and their spells can prove useful in the most unexpected situations. Bards. Their tongues are too long. Alright, so, war priests. This changes those church guards that we have there. So, war priests have a curing ability. All allied units within the 2 squares gain a +4 bonus to saving throws against fear. And they have Dispel. So they have a decent amount of power, they can cure wounds. Basically clerics. For monks, they have Shield Wall. 20 to 22 damage. 611 hit points. 26 to 31, a lot lower hit points. The assassins, 158, but do a lot of damage. Teleport to any unoccupied square instead of moving, and apply poison to the target and a -2 penalty to strength. They're weak, but they do a ton of damage. For the druids, cure moderate wounds, and they have bark skin. They do less damage than the war priests, but have a bit more health. Okay, and bards. They have 4 auras. All allied units within a radius of 2 squares gain a +2 bonus to all ability scores, +3 to attack, +4 to saving throws, +3 to AC. They're purely a support character. So, monks are the tanks. Not gonna do them. I'm not keen about the druids or the bards, really. Well, the druids have healing, but they're weaker than the war priests. So, I think the war priests are a good idea, because then we can actually have clerics on our front lines that we can hire regularly without having to wait for actual clerics to be summoned. I think the war priest is a good choice. Excellent. Our fighters will need their spells, but their words of solace and support will be just as important too. To reach a soldier's heart, you need to eat from the same pot and wear the same boots. I will send a letter to Canabras immediately requesting a group of spellcasters to be sent to our aid. I'm certain they will arrive soon, Commander. Excellent. And with that, I am going to end this episode here, because I kind of need to. Next episode, we'll do some more handling of the, of all of this. We're gonna have another diplomacy. Alright. Go with the raid on the succubus, though. That'll be easy. But we're gonna have more diplomacy soon. Very nice. Anyway, next episode... Excuse me. More of this. Till then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is me. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.